Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode on this series that we got going on here. Um, Today, what we're gonna try to do is lock the vtec in this little single overhead cam here, and like there, I thought of a lot of excuses why this is a good idea. Turbo spool up a little faster, maybe flatten out the power band a little bit, like more linear, and all this stuff, but when you search locked VTEC or locked VTEC and pull up the single overhead cams, they just sound greasy. They have like the deadliest idle. So, um, yeah, all of those other things said, if it idles real deadly, I'd be okay with that. There's a lot of cons to it too. Like, yeah, you'd wear out your pads on your rockers faster and stuff like that. So more oil changes, but um, something I've been wanting to do for a lot of years. And I mean, try not to wreck anything so I can put it back to factory if I don't like it at all. But we're going to get going on it and see what we can accomplish. So, anyway, stick around and stick around till the end. Maybe we'll have a result that will, well, a result for what I think anyway. Well, from what I can see, doesn't look too bad at all in here. They're a little bit discolored, but I think it's just the oil on them and the fact that it's... Yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. A little bit of... Maybe... Where's a clean towel here? A little bit of wear on them. I've seen worse. The motor I pulled the pins out of at the junkyard, I'd spun and just scored, and it was probably, it's obviously still running when it went in because it was all smashed up. Yeah. Not terrible. Nice and clean in here. That's when you do your oil changes, people. And this stuff looks pretty good. Sorry it's a little loud, I have to have the heat on. It's cold outside, but that looks almost brand new. Not bad at all. Lost motion. Oh, that one is... I know you can't hear it, but... That one is good. It might just be a little dry. But yeah, everything looks really good on here. Everything is decent and clean, and I just would take her apart. I loosened the valves off a little bit because I figured it'd make it a little bit easier to get them out, and then there wouldn't be so much tension on it. Yeah, let's bust this apart and see what we can see. Well, that came apart pretty well. Got everything kind of half laid out of how it came out so that the rockers can go back with their valve springs. And yeah, had one spot on one of these that was a little sticky. I think right here. Not sure what was going on there. To clean it off and have a look at it, but yeah, sliding them up, each one got stuck on there. So yeah, I guess now we move on to figure out how these come out. Alright, so here's what we got going on. This is a little rocker arm assembly. They got a bushing on each side. Just take out of the way. Then on this rocker arm, they have a plunger. A little spring-loaded plunger. Oh, you can't see that. And I'm not pushing it straight. There we go. So, and what most guys do is they flip over this plunger, put a punch in the hole in the back, and hammer it out. Okay, I tried that for a bit and I was like, no, I'm going to break something. And also, I want the option of putting it back to stock if it's absolutely terrible and I hate it. So, what I've ended up doing is take the long pin out of there, because these effectively lock all together when you hit VTEC, all three. When you're not in VTEC, this one's just chilling, sitting on the, doing nothing. So you take the long pin out. Get out of there. This one has a shorter pin. Out. There we go. So they're like so. And most guys, if they do drill out that plunger, they get another long pin, stick them both in, bam, and then you got both rockers engaged instead of a long one and a short one. They got two long ones. But like I said, I want the option to return it to stock if need be. So what I did was, or what I'm going to try, put the long one where the short one was. Put this on here. And I found a tiny little nut that just fits in there. And then put the short one in. And you can see, got some sticking out. And this one with the plunger. Come on. Just locked down in there. And you can see there's a, probably, and you can see there's a decent amount that's locked in there. So I think that's what I'm going to try with all of these. And you know what? At least it gives it a chance to see if I like it. And if I don't, then I can take it back apart and return it to stock and I haven't wrecked anything or, anything like that. So. Whole assembly back together. You see me put the bolts in. Those are just to hold the caps so that they weren't trying to spring off, because there is spring pressure in there. Go. Feed that down in there. Perfect. So check, make sure those are together, those are working together. It's on the upstroke already. Okay. Not bad. So I just gotta pull all the bolts back out now. Should stay all seated. Yeah, they all feel loose. Pull all the bolts back out and then put the cover on and the lost motion assemblies. They're right on here. I was going to leave them out because I thought it might help with wear and tear. But then I think I'm going to lose oil pressure because they got oil shooting through them. Back, guys, and of course I dropped one in this bucket. Yeah, it's just deadly. So that they're pointing directly down onto these little pads. This thing has an arrow on it and a 1, so pointing towards number 1. Which is over here, cam side. Alright, now I just gotta tighten everything down, find out what the torque spec is, and then relash all the valves because I let all the lash off of them so that they would be looser when I took them out. That's not right. Pay attention to your work. Alright, so we got her bolted down, valves adjusted. Yeah, spun her over a couple of revolutions by hand. So I'll throw the valve cover back on now and fire it up, I guess. See if it runs. I don't know. Find out in a minute. Alright, alright. Well, she definitely got a chop to her, that's for sure. warm up a minute. Check the valves real quick, and I had a couple that were a little bit loose, and I had two. Sorry, I'm just putting these back in. I had two that had backed almost completely off, so that's why the valve noise was so nasty when it fired up. I must have missed them, or I didn't get them tight enough, the jam nut, or something. But now everything looks good. I adjusted some clearances, so that was a little bit better because they were all a little bit on the loose side. Open up this door, and let's fire it back up and see what it sounds like now. Hopefully I didn't just waste a whole Saturday, which, I mean, whatever. Minor. Fire in the hole. Yeah, that's what I expected it to sound like. We'll let her warm up a little bit. Might have to adjust that idle a little bit, but we'll see. Once it warms up and comes down, we'll see how it sounds. The valves are definitely not as noisy, like, it is quiet. Yeah. But no valve noise. That sounds really good. Definitely got a bit of a hope to it, Sounds cool, man. Yeah, now you guys seen before what it was when I was idling, right? My air fuels, they're at 14. It's warmed up now, but you can't see if my hand's in the way. It's warmed up. it's idling where it's supposed to. My air fuels are now super rich. So just taking out a little bit of fuel from where it's sitting there. Alright, we're taking out a lot of fuel. Still a 12.1. Try that. 13, 14, 14.5. Well, my air fuels are happier at idle, but all right, I'll play with this a little more. We've messed around a little bit, got our idle air fuel a little better, and our vacuum is actually lower than it was before we did this. I'm not sure what to think about that, but it's warmed up, and I mean, there's nothing. It's like, it sounds like it did before. Very little chop. I mean, I guess the guy could get her to chop if you played with the timing and played with the idle a little bit, but I don't know. Seems pointless, so I'll probably just put it back. That, and I'm leaking oil all down the front from the valve cover, so. Alright, so when it was colder, then it had a good chop to it. Sounded real deadly, and now that it's warmed up, it has no chop to it. So I don't think there's much of a point really to run it with them locked in like that. Totally sure what I should do here, or what I should think. It runs about the same as it did before I pinned them, except for that little bit there with the cold start when she was pretty choppy idle. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might play with it a little more, but in all reality, I mean, a guy can set vtec to pretty much wherever he wants as long as he's got oil pressure. So I don't really see a huge need to have them locked in like that, but it was something I always wanted to try, so figured, yeah, might as well try, right? Worst case, your valve cover leaks all over the floor. So yeah, I might play with it a little more. We'll see here. I'm not totally sure yet. Anyway, that's how I did it, and that's how it worked. So if you had anything to add, leave it in the comments. And yeah, till next time.